Hi, I'm Sarah Thompson, and this is Barriers to the Web. Chapter 2 looked at the vision to build a sense of community through collaboration and communication. And with this, being that I am an early childhood educator, building the sense of community and collaboration happens more between the teachers and planning our lessons and ideas that are working in the classroom. We are the ones gaining the most of the skills in the area of technology, but we also teach our students how to be respectful of the equipment that we have in the classroom. Some of the equipment that is common around here is the interactive whiteboards, projectors, video streaming, touch screens. What I have available in my classroom is a smart TV, and also I am limited to just having 2 iPads. Issues that the paper said need to be addressed, and also issues that I'm seeing that need to be addressed, is the instructional quality. The paper said that there's really no research as to if the testing scores are higher due to technology, so that's something that further research needs to be done on. Also, the lack of time. It does take a lot of time, even in early childhood education, to build games to play, to research, to find things that will be great and interactive for all my students. I also am lacking training. I have been given equipment and said, here you go. And so I need to have more training myself so I can use the equipment to its fullest extent. Lack of administration support. I see that. I understand that administrators are seeing the change in technology and that it needs to be available in the 21st century, and they're just kind of giving it to us and not providing the time or the resources to train us on how to use it. School culture is something that I am not seeing a huge impact in early childhood education. I do know that a lot of my students have iPads and stuff at home, but their accessibility to it outside of the classroom, I'm not familiar with. Also, limited resources. Again, I know what I have in the classroom. It is very limited. I don't know, again, what occurs in the student's home. I do, and this is something that they said not to do, but I do more drill exercises because at this age, having the open problem solving exercises is more difficult. I do use my equipment to look up resources to show students new information. Like we just celebrated Kansas Day and looking up soybean plants and stuff like that, things I couldn't bring into the classroom. So I'm hoping that that helped problem solve a little bit in the early childhood education realm. Next, I'm going to look at advantages. Our students don't really have group work, but they learn to work together and share and take turns. I don't have a whole lot of project-based time. Our students, again, a lot of our experience is teacher-led, aside for their questions. Addressing students' needs. This is huge in my classroom, actually. I use a lot of equipment for my autistic children. I do storyboards on the iPad. I use it for sound stations to listen to stories. It helps with a lot of my students that have visual needs. And so therefore, it has helped in that aspect in early childhood education. And the students are learning cooperation. They are learning to work together. Problem solving skills we're still working on at this age. And the self-direction and creativity, they're skills that are just now starting at this age level. But I do know that it's very important in the 21st century, and I know a lot of testing is done as they get ready for kindergarten on iPads, so they must be familiar with them. I've not seen a lot of disadvantages as far as site crashing, social network addiction. I know that my own children can tend to spend a little bit too much time on social networking. Spam, cyberbullying, copyright infringement, cyber theft, identity theft, those are all areas that I need to learn more about if I ever leave the early childhood education realm. The next article was 7 common barriers. Having no vision, as I talked about before, a lot of administration knows that we need these, but they're just handing them to us without a clear plan. Also, having the students become more active learners. I don't really see this as a problem in early childhood education, but I can understand the struggle as with teachers in high school and moving away from the sitting at a desk and just watching the teacher and taking notes. And it's more going to be their own taking responsibility for their own learning. Also, the achievement gap, the socioeconomic backgrounds. I work with a lot of children that have very difficult financial backgrounds. But again, in the early childhood education realm, it's not really seen as a problem as it would be in upper grades. And the compensation for creativity and learning would be fantastic. Like I said, it takes lots of time, lots of hours to create new innovative programs, things to keep the children engaged. So I do believe that as a teacher, just spending that extra time would be a compensation would be nice. Lacking money is huge in our school. We only have the few resources that we have as far as within the technology realm because they were privately donated funds that went to making sure that we could purchase those. I don't use textbooks, but free and open educational resources are fantastic. I use a lot of resources off the web just to add into my educational experience for my children. And as I said before, building more professional development and training time within what we have to do would be great because I know many of us are struggling, especially those of us who haven't grown up with all this new and modern technology. The digital divide, again, most of the schools in my area are Title I, very low income area, and the internet is not affected in my classroom right now, but it, I know, is going to start becoming an issue with the grade schools, the middle schools, and even the high schoolers. So I'd like to learn more about how Trump is going to get the broadband in rural and low income communities, because I know that as my students get older, this is going to be an issue because they are replacing the textbooks and students are having to not be able to do their homework at home because they have no connection. And so therefore, they're camping out at McDonald's and libraries, and a lot of times they're running out of data. And even my para, who lives out in the country, her family is always competing with the data because they have to do assignments, she has to pay bills. So I completely understand the rate running out of data. And I'd like to also learn more about the gigabit opportunity zones, just that they're going to create tax breaks for companies who are going to work on getting broadband out there. Open education resource movement. I think this is wonderful. Resources for teaching, you know, that it's free. Licenses are allowing us to get these lesson plans in this curriculum, and we are able to create change, share ideas with one another. Again, that's building the collaboration and communication between everybody, expanding those ideas, customizing to needs. I really have to customize most all of my lesson plans because of the plethora of students that I work with, from those very, very low to my very, very high functioning students. And I can use this from what I'm expected in my curriculum and build upon. And this will just strengthen my teaching. Do I feel the digital divide can be resolved? I think it will be resolved at some point. I see it as being similar to the free cell phone access. I think that hopefully eventually there'll be free data plan accesses. I think that schools should be putting data on computers. I don't know, again, I'm not technology savvy, but if data can be put on phones to be taken anywhere, I think that in the future that data can be put on computers, that students have so much time allotted for homework. What skills do I feel 21st century students must acquire prior to graduation? The biggest things: teamwork, becoming a creative thinker, problem solving, communication, also reading and writing skills. I think a lot of our students are struggling with their reading and writing, which there goes in with communication skills. Math and science are also huge. And with all of this is linking it to technology. I think these are all areas that as educators that we must be sure that we're addressing on a daily basis with our students. What impact has the global economy had on my personal use of the internet? I am a banker online. I pay my bills. I purchased a house 4 years ago, and everything was done via the web. So the global economy has really affected just my day-to-day life as far as using technology. What technology training do I need to effectively integrate technology in my current position? I only have an iPad and smart TV, and again, I am not 100% familiar with using those, and I've also never owned an Apple product. So just being handed an iPad, I have no idea really how to use it except for getting on the web, downloading music, and I know there's a plethora of information out there to be trained on. Is my school equipped with 21st century? Again, all I have is two iPads. One is actually out of function, and I have no idea how to fix it. So my IT guide travels among all of our schools. So catching him is a challenge, but I also have my smart TV, which the pen is not working, so we can watch videos and look up some information. But as far as the interactiveness right now, I do not have. So my school has a lot to gain in the area of technology. The advantages of innovative practices in school, I think, goes along with everything that I've already discussed: the teamwork, the collaboration, the problem solving, and being able to find those additional resources and seek out additional help from others in the community and even globally, especially in my case where I have children with some syndromes that I have not ever heard of until they come, and I can seek out, people in other states and how they're working with them and how they're using technology to help those students. I've never experienced cyberbullying. Again, I have the younger children, so never experienced it. The only time I've ever experienced it is a little bit with one of my teenagers when her and some girls online were being not the nicest to each other. But again, I need to do more research on this as I progress in my field. As an administrator, I will use research to help create a program of study, technology-based, that will cover curriculum needs. Also, I will make sure that technology is engaging and used within all areas of curriculum to help encourage education growth in the 21st century. And these are the articles that I read, and thank you and have a wonderful evening.